Master Windu. I take it General Grievous has been destroyed then. I must say you're here sooner than expected.
In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor.
We would be honored if you would join us.
As voted in last night's poll, over about 2/3 of you wanted this video to be covered. For those who don't like gore imagery, I will say click away now because the novelization of this scene in the movie is much more dark and gruesome than to how it was filmed. You should also know that when they say the shadow in the scenes following ahead, they're actually referring to Palpatine. There's a lot of backstory that the films didn't cover in respect to this scene. However, as to not make this an hour-long video, I'm going to start reading the book just after this scene right here. Let's begin.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Not yet.
A fountain of
You're under
amethyst
arrest,
energy burst
Chancellor.
from Mace Windu's fist. "Don't try to resist," he said. The song of his blade was echoed by green fire from the hands of Kit Fisto, Aegon Kolar, and Saesee Tiin. Kolar and Tiin closed on Palpatine, blocking the path to the door. Shadows dripped and oozed color, weaving and coiling up office walls, slipping over chairs, spreading along the floor. Resist? How could I possibly resist? Still seated at the desk, Palpatine shook an empty fist helplessly, the perfect image of a tired, frightened old man. "This is murder, you Jedi traitors. How can I be any threat to you?" He turned desperately to Saesee Tiin. "Master Tiin, you're the telepath. What am I thinking right now?" Tiin frowned and cocked his head. His blade dipped. A smear of red flashing darkness hurled from behind the desk. Saesee Tiin's head bounced when it hit the floor. Smoke curled from the neck and from the twin stumps of the horns, severed just below the chin. Kit Fisto gasped. "Saesee!" The headless corpse, still standing, twisted as its knees buckled, and a thin sigh escaped from his trachea as it folded to the floor. Aegon Kolar swayed. His emerald blade shrank away, and the hand grip tumbled from his opening fingers. A small, neat hole in the middle of his forehead leaked smoke, showing light from the back of his head. He pitched forward onto his face and lay still. Palpatine stood at the doorway, but the door stayed shut. From his right hand extended a blade the color of fire. The door locked itself at his back. "Help! Help! Help!" Palpatine cried like a man in desperate fear for his life. "Security! Someone help me! Murder! Treason!" Then he smiled. He held one finger to his lips, and astonishingly, he winked. In the blank second that followed, while Mace Windu and Kit Fisto could do no more than angle their lightsabers to guard, Palpatine swiftly stepped over the body's back towards his desk, reversed his blade, and drove it in a swift, surgically precise stab down through his desktop. That's enough of that. He let it burn its way free through the front, then he turned, lifting his weapon, appearing to study it as one might study the face of a beloved friend, one has long thought dead. Power gathered around him until the Force shimmered with darkness. "If you only knew," he said softly, perhaps speaking to the Jedi Masters, or perhaps to himself, or perhaps even to the scarlet blade lifted now, as though in mocking salute. "How long I have been waiting for this." Anakin's speeder shrieked through the rain, dodging forked bolts of lightning that shot up from the towers into the clouds, slicing across traffic lanes, screaming past space scrapers so fast that his shockwave cracked windows as he passed. He didn't understand how the trillion beings who jammed Galactic City could go about their trivial business as though the universe hadn't changed. How could they think they counted for anything compared with him? How could they think they still mattered? Their blind lives meant nothing now. None of them, because ahead, on the vast cliff face of the Senate office building, one window spat lightning into the rain to echo the lightning of the storm outside. But this lightning was the color of clashing lightsabers. Green fans, sheets of purple, and crimson flame. He was too late. The green fire faded and winked out. Now the lightning was only purple and red. His repulsor lifts howled as he wheeled the speeder up onto its side, skidding through window shear turbulence to bring it to a bobbing halt outside the window of Palpatine's private office. He blinked furiously, slapping at his eyes in frustration. The colorless glare inside his eyes faded slowly, bringing into focus a jumble of bodies on the floor of Palpatine's private office. Bodies in Jedi robes. On Palpatine's desk lay the head of Kit Fisto, face up, scalp tentacles unbound in a squid tangle across the ebonite. His lidless eyes stared blindly at the ceiling. Anakin remembered him in the arena at Geonosis, effortlessly carving his way through wave after wave of combat droids. On his lips, a gently humorous smile, as though the horrific battle were only some friendly jest. His severed head wore that same smile. Maybe he thought death was funny too. Anakin's own blade sang blue as it slashed through the window and he dived through the gap. He rolled his feet among a litter of bodies and sprinted through a shattered door along the small private corridor and through a doorway that flashed and flared with energy scatter. Anakin skidded to a stop. Within the public office of the Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Republic, a last Jedi Master battled alone, blade to blade, against a living
Shadow.
The oppression of the Sith will never return. You have lost.
No. 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 You.
Now, if you would like for me to continue reading from Anakin's point of view, then hit like or let me know in the comments below, just so that I can make one for you all. Maybe it's a double upload for tomorrow, or later today if you so wished. What did you think of this version from the novel? Did you like how it was more dark and violent, as opposed to the movie version, which was just 3 quick deaths by impaling through the abdomen? I think the novel's description is much less PG and more true to how sinister and evil a Sith Lord of Palpatine's caliber should kill Jedi. I know this most likely wouldn't happen, but if Disney were to make a standalone film about Vader, I would want it to be very dark and true just to how ruthless Anakin had become in his depression. Thanks so much for watching this episode, everyone, as voted by you. If you want to see something new, let me know in the comments below and I'll make it happen. Make sure you hit that little bell to always be the first to know about contests and announcements, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's episode of Star Wars Theory. Thanks, guys. Until we meet again, remember,
The Force will be with you always.